Well, hello there and welcome everyone. I am so thrilled to be here today to launch our very special Grow Workshop series virtually and Women's Success Summit. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Carol Dockum, the CEO and founder of Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network, and thrilled to have the opportunity to co-host this special virtual Grow Workshop series and Women's Success Summit with Pamela of Aviatra Accelerators based out of Dayton, Ohio. And Pamela, I am going to pass the baton to you and have you just share a little bit about Aviatra Accelerators Dayton.
Thank you, Carol. I'm so excited to be able to co-host this event with you, Beautiful Faces Going Places, Aviatra Dayton and Aviatra Accelerators. It's a business accelerator for women. We support all women in every industry across any spectrum at any point of their business, from the ideation to the exit phase. And we offer a series of programs that include 9-week courses such as Explore and Launch to help them have the fundamentals they need to get started in business and also to expand. This series that we're offering is a part of one of our offering programs that we offer. Is called Grow. And so Grow workshops are designed to give the business owner the extra tools that they need to be successful. This time, because of the current climate that we're in regards to COVID, and a lot of businesses struggling with being able to pivot, we're offering the Grow Workshop series and partnering with Beautiful Faces Going Places. So opposed to just being one singular event, we are doing a series of 4 events and one in live person partnering with you with your Women's Success Summit. So
this is so exciting. As you know, beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com is actually an online chamber of commerce for women in business. And we launched our company 2 years ago. And because of the entire state of our economy, our country, and everything that's going on in our world, we too had to pivot to virtual. And this year's Women's Success Summit had to be a virtual/hybrid event. So thrilled to be able to offer education, information, and resources to women in business. We here at Beautiful Faces Going Places, we offer monthly lunch and learn networking events and virtual and in-person networking events, as well as workshops, really with the intention of bringing information, education, and resources to women in business, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. All right, I am going to just real quickly share what you can expect here the next few weeks as we go through our Grow Workshop series. So I'm going to share my screen here. And as you can see, all the information is on Eventbrite. So I'd love for you to refer to that and or continue to share this opportunity to learn and grow with us. I know Pamela and I were talking about how right now more than ever, entrepreneurs and small business owners need what we have to offer here with this Grow Workshop series and Success Summit. I think a lot of businesses right now are kind of feeling stuck and waiting to see what's going to happen next. So right now more than ever, it is time to do some strategic planning, to map out, the rest of 2020 and get prepared for 2021. So as you can see, we've got a fabulous lineup of Grow Workshop series. Basically 1 hour every week, we'll be hosting these virtual online workshops, and through week number 2, week number 3, week number 4, all virtually, leading up to our hybrid event, grand finale, in person at Indiana Wesleyan University from 10 to 5. And so that basically, that's what this entire series looks like. Pamela and I have curated a fantastic lineup of speakers, presenters, to really deliver all the information, tools, templates, worksheets that you need to strategic plan for 2021. So that is basically the entire Grow Workshop Series, Women's Success Summit. We're super, super thrilled and excited that you're here. And Pamela, I am going to pass the baton to you so we can introduce our first speaker presenter.
Thank you so much. When I thought of this idea, the first person I thought to kick this off was Tandy Pryor. She is the type of life coach, in your face life coach that you need to be able, and honest, to be able to get your mindset towards building your planning for 2021 and beyond. And so Tandy is an excellent life coach. I took some coaching from her, and I was able to get from stuck of how do I start Aviatra Dayton in the midst of a pandemic to being able to do so. Her mission is to help find and identify and deal with the things that are blocking your journey towards personal and professional fulfillment. So that is why she is the perfect person to kick off our Grow Workshop series. So Tandy, thank you so much for agreeing to present to our group today, and I look forward to learning from you.
Thank you so much. And I love that you thought of me for this. I think that's fantastic. I do a combination of life coaching and business coaching. Most of my clients are entrepreneurs, so it's kind of a hybrid. But I know, especially with women, you can't ignore one. One affects the other. So thank you again. I have loved meeting Carol, and Aviatra is so close to my heart. I've been around since the beginning, And I'm excited to be here to help support Dayton getting going and Carol's beautiful faces going places. So thank you for having me. So welcome. And I hope that during these unprecedented times that you have found your way of being inspired and connecting, because I feel very fortunate to be walking this entrepreneurial path with so much support and such an amazing community from all over this area and, you know, across the country, which is awesome about the way that we do business. So with that in mind, I want to ask you, how are you feeling about your business right now? I've heard a mix, depending on who I'm talking to, what group I'm in front of. Some people are super inspired. Every single person I've coached this year, with the exception of one, has re-signed up again because they know during this time you need support. And it's not me specifically. I don't mean that. I mean, whatever you need, make sure you find that support so you can keep going. What I want to say is, if you are having second thoughts, do I stay in business during COVID? Heck yes, please stay in business. Please, the world needs your gifts. Really review that and get in touch with your why. Because I know this, the people that I talk to, the world needs each individual gifts right now in this time of upheaval and what some could describe as darkness. It's actually the possibility of light every time it's dark. And I hope that when you're finished today, that you are re-inspired. If you felt at all kind of down about doing business during this time, there are so many businesses that are doing well. So right now, I would love for you to take a minute and set your intention.
Yes.
Set your intention for this entire series, culminating in the in-person, and set your intention daily for these when we meet. What do you want out of this? We're going to talk about recharge and refocus. Is that what you need? Do you need some financial, which is the next speaker, I believe, is talking about that. What do you need? Identify what's kind of in your way. And today, I want to talk to you, and I'm going to leave you with 5 things. But first, I want you to set your intention. Let's just take a few minutes here, 30 seconds, a minute, and think about what you'd like to be, where you are right now, and where you'd like to be at the end of today. Okay. So at least you've got this kind of started and are thinking about, what your intentions are. So let's get going, because I want to leave you with at least 5 things that you can think about over the weekend and over the next week until we meet again. And I hope they help you get refocused and recharged. One of the first things is to decide what you want. Decide means to cut off all other options. If you're kind of in and you're kind of not in, make that decision. It is the clearest way to get you where you want to go and to get you to what you say you want. When you aren't, what do I want to say? When you aren't getting the results you want, normally it really has to do with you haven't really made the decision that that's what you want to do. And it's really important. And the more specific, name it so you can claim it. Hopefully you can take that away. If you're not getting the results you want, go back and check. Are you actually behaving, and have you behaving in the order of, and have you really made the decision? And have you cut off all other options? Meaning, are you keeping one foot in another job or a part-time, or you got multiple part-time things? That's like splitting your energy. So commit. 2, urgency. If you've ever watched me before, you know that I talk about this all the time. It is imperative. If you have an idea, if you have a business, whatever your urgency is, if you have kids to feed and you need to monetize your business, by all means, get into action, but get in touch with what your urgency is. What I have found, the people that have a high urgency, or they create a high urgency, meaning they go on and move forward with what they want, even though it doesn't appear like they can do it. That's creating a sense of urgency. So I can coach around urgency a little bit, but you really need to find your urgency. 3, it should be number 1. This one is so important. Use your calendar. If you hired a $100,000 a year coach right now, the very first thing they're going to tell you to do is calendar your time. Your calendar is your predictor of your future. My coach said that yesterday, and I was like, whoa. Your calendar is the predictor of your future. Think about it. What do you have down? Or do you have days where there's just kind of nothing? Number 4, focus. We are in the craziest distraction world ever. And we just assume that it's okay to be interrupted every 5 seconds. It's not. You cannot fully be mindful and in your place if your phone's going off and you've got notifications from social media, and who knows where you're working right now, right? That's number 5. We're going to get to that. But you've got to have a clear, distinct place of where you're working and be willing to turn off your phone. Set the timer, work hour increments, and then get up and move. The other thing that my clients are really having really good luck with are the apps that stop your social media. And I wrote a few of them down. Off time, one's called Moment, one's called Flipped, FLIPD. One is called Cold Turkey. I think that's funny. I love that one. And the last one is called Focus. Duh, it's perfect. It's called Focus. Utilize those, turn it off, because I mean, I was guilty of this too. I now do increments and keep the door closed, turn the phone off, and write or whatever it is that I do. Okay, number 5.
Wait, Tandy, what were those apps again? Off time, cold turkey, focus.
Off time, moment, flipped, FLIPD. It's a weird name. I don't like
FLIP.
D. FLI, like flipped, FLIPD, cold turkey, and focus.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Those are ones that I know people have used that way.
Okay.
Yeah, is that good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then the last one, my absolute favorite, number 5. This is what I teach on all the time. Create your physical space for success. Create a space. It matters. If you don't like where you're working, it matters. You don't want to stay there. You will think of reasons not to go in there. You'll keep walking by. If you have your back to the door, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. You must set your office literally is the blueprint for your business and your life. Now, I cannot go into the details on this right now, but this is part of what I teach all the time. Get in touch with that. Do things that, first off, today that you can do, one thing you can do to create a space for success, look at your clutter. Look what's around you. What things, people, places, things I always teach. But right now in your office, what do you love? What do you not love in there? So you can do that today. Move things around. Always start with clean, clear, and decluttered. If it's too overwhelming, get a couple laundry baskets, move everything out. Nothing comes back in that isn't loved or utilized or has a light feel to it. Like, where does it come? Things have meaning. Usually it's a memory. So make sure that you're surrounded by, make sure that you keep yourself in a space that uplifts you. Be willing to put fresh flowers in there, change them around. You are worth it. So those are the 5 things that I have that hopefully you can take today to help you refocus, recharge, get back in the driver's seat, and drive your business. Does anybody have any questions, or are we going to do questions after the next one?
You know, I would love it if we take 5 minutes because your subject matter has just been delivered and so powerful and impactful. This is the best time for us to continue the conversation with what you've just shared with us. So
okay.
Yes, let's open up the floor for 5 minutes of some Q&A. And yes, you've got Tandy at your fingertips right here.
Oh, your thing about the personal space in the office is so important, because when COVID first began and we realized that we were going to be doing home, that was one of the first things I did, and was take a look at that space. And then I fell back into my habit of using my dining room table, which is I'm surrounded by the windows. But you know, this fall and winter, I have a feeling we're going to be going back into what it was like in March when we were facing pre-COVID, because it's going to be dark, going to be getting cold, and COVID is rising. And I think we're going to be facing some rough times and some closures and things. And you're absolutely right. Put flowers in that space. Put flowers. Be in the office that you want to be in. It inspires. Yeah. Thank you, Tandy. This has been good.
Oh, I love that. And I love, like, you're sitting in a beautiful space. If I were to make one suggestion, you need a solid wall behind you and facing out.
No. This is my home. Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
And I didn't upgrade, so I need to upgrade. I didn't realize that Zoom had another update. So I lost my virtual background ability. But no, yes, I do.
Well, yeah, virtual background's good, but I hope that's okay to suggest that to you, because I would say that to anybody, that when you have something behind you, even though I use this, right? This is the way, this to me makes a solid wall. I am in the command position where I'm looking at the door, I'm looking out the window. So I used the premise and my knowledge of feng shui and intuition and coaching to combine to help people really create it makes a huge difference. I've seen people double sales. Thank you for that, though. Betty, I love that you get it, and thank you. I love that you spoke up. Thank you so much.
Will you, Kara, would it be possible if we could get her list of things that she said? If you could offer it, please, Tandy, to Carol, so that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if that could be in our.
I think Carol wrote those down.
I did.
They're
In
in the chat.
but I will include it, and everyone, that is registered for virtual and in person will receive the video replays, recordings. So I can include her top 5. Absolutely. Great idea.
Great.
It is in the chat, so feel free to save the chat after our session today.
And I listed those apps there as well.
Okay. That's okay. You got those.
Yeah.
And if this interests you, I have a free class coming up starting October 26th every day for 5 days at 5 in the afternoon. So if you want to join on my Facebook group, the Power Tribe, Tandy Pryor, you can register there, because we will talk about how to monetize your office. I've got the monetize your office method. So if this really is interesting you, please, I'd love to see you guys on that. If, does there anybody else have a question, a comment?
Tandy, I want to comment about the calendar to how, because I think I've asked you this before, but in your day, how much time are you engaged with others, and how much time are you thinking and planning?
Okay. It depends. It depends on my client schedule, but I've got them in specific places. So different days are different. What I do, and it is not negotiable, is Monday is work on my business, on it, not in it. So that's the day of planning. That's the day of figuring out what's new programs, writing, that kind of thing. I don't take clients. And that's what works for me. I also had a coach that only took clients the first 3 weeks of the month, and then the last week was all billing, planning, that. So that's another way. So fool around with what works for you specifically, and what you need depending on your business and how it's set up. But don't be afraid to have boundaries, you guys. All of these things I'm talking about, everything, as I move through this after 9 years of being a coach and being in coaching, everything comes down to boundaries. Do not be afraid. Focus is about boundaries for yourself. Like every single thing, the calendar is about boundaries. People get put off by boundaries. Remember that. That's a whole nother subject, like getting over the need to be liked. You have to, if you're going to run a business and you want to scale it, or you want it to be successful, the only way is to have really clear boundaries.
Thank you, Tandy.
Yes. Thank you guys. I really enjoyed this. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions about this, or you don't really want to share publicly about it. I'm happy to answer a question. Just reach out on Messenger, connect with me. Thanks, you guys.
I'm just glad you're here. I tried 2 months ago to get you over to Beautiful Faces, and now you're here. So
You did?
yeah, I asked you if you knew Carol and if you had talked to her.
Okay, but I think we just had coffee, or we had coffee right after that.
Yeah, so Marianne, thank you so much for introducing the two of us, and I'm thrilled that Tandy Pryor is here as well. She is phenomenal, just intuitive. She's got the whole intuitive element along with the business skills, and I'm just thrilled.
Strategy is really my thing too. So
it is.
Yeah, so thank you guys. I love being here, and I love what you're up to.
Yeah.
Tandy, what do you think of working in blocks? That seems to become a big thing lately, because people felt freed up by Zoom, and then they went Zoom, bum, 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 and then they found themselves over the cliff. And I have found, for me, that working in blocks and being disciplined about it like this is reserved for this, and this is reserved for this. So I'm not, oh my God, I can do 5 things at once. But what do you think? Have you found that to be effective?
Absolutely, because I have a tendency to be distracted.
Mhm.
It's kind of that creative brain, you know, so I have to reel myself in like that. I have clients blocked like that. I have my time blocked like that, but I can't work longer than 50 minutes to an hour before I have to get up and do something. And finally, I just had to accept that
Right.
that's the way I work. And I'm a student of human design in the last year. And if it's anything, it's given me this ability to work according to my design. And it's giving yourself permission to work, to do what works. We always have, you know, these heads about it. And your voice is telling you what you think you need to do, right? All the way back from when you were a kid. And the thing is, especially now when you have the freedom to work at home, I've always done that since I've had this business.
Well, I think if we give ourselves, like, let's say I'm going to have 3 hours to this client or 3 hours to this project, what will happen is, oh, heck, I think I'll make a sandwich real quick. Oh, heck, I think I'll empty the dishwasher, because I've given myself 3 hours. We're just saying, no, an hour and 15 minutes. And then I can scurry about and make that sandwich. Then I think we'll really give it that focus, dedicated.
I love that. I love that. And here's one more thing on that. When you say that you're going to do that, it's really important to keep your word to yourself.
Yes.
Because your mind doesn't know the difference. So when you get into something and you go on and work 2 or 3 hours, right? And then the next time you go to sit down, your subconscious is going to be like, oh, heck no, I'm not doing that. So do what you say. I talk about this all the time about keeping your word to others and keeping your word to yourself. That goes for this too. And it goes for your calendar. And it's okay to be rigid around that.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tandy. And be sure to jump on Tandy's private Facebook group page,
Yeah.
the Power Tribe, right? So
Yeah.
join Tandy there, and I would say take advantage of her upcoming workshop. Thank you so much, Tandy. This was fantastic. All right. Well, we are going to continue with our programming here, and I am just so excited and thrilled to introduce our next speaker, presenter, and expert. I want to say thank you so much, Deborah, for stepping in today to share with us your knowledge and your expertise on money and finances. So Deborah Daniels she is actually the CEO and founder of Charter Accounting Services. Deborah began her 25-year career as an entrepreneur soon after completing her MBA. And during that time, she has purchased and scaled 4 accounting firms into Charter Accounting Services based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And her experience is so extensive in owning real estate investments, which has given her the hands-on experience needed to mentor her clients in the areas of tax planning, investment planning, financial planning, and accounting, and with wealth creation habits and strategies. So please help me welcome Deborah Daniels. Yay!
Carol, it's great to see you. It's great to see you. Can you hear? I'm unmuted, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad anything money related, I'm glad to jump in and talk. I actually have my banners behind me. My whole mantra, I'm passionate to the point of obsession of helping people, especially women, make more money, keep more money, and grow their money. There's just too many ladies out there, men too, that are killing themselves, working 80 hours to avoid a 40-hour gig. I mean, there's got to be a better way. And I loved a lot of what Tandy said. I totally agree with the boundaries. And I do something similar to the time blocking. I do think it's called sprints, where I have like 3 little sections. I mean, it's just, there's all kinds of methodology. But the reality is we have to be disciplined on our time, but we also have to be disciplined on our money. So when Carol gave me a shout out and wanted me to jump in and help on this, I just grabbed a presentation that I've done. I mean, I talk about this all the time. So I'm going to use this presentation that I have. I'm going to share my screen with you. But I'm going to modify it a little bit for what's going on with COVID. Now I'm a little bit technologically challenged. So let's see if we can get this working here. Let's see. Is that working? Do you see it? Okay, you see it? and so Carol's already introduced you to me. As people tell me all the time, like, you don't seem like a CPA, you have a personality, and I take that as a compliment, but also kind of a little bit of an insult to my profession. But the reality is, no matter what business you're in, you really are in the money business, right? Life isn't about money, and I talk a lot about money mindset. That's not really today's topic today. So much of that does impact your sales and things like that when you don't have a good relationship with money. But no matter what you're doing, the good or service that you have, you really are in the money business. Life isn't about money, but business is, and everything important is impacted by it. So if we can wrap our arms around this topic, really get the tools that we need. That's part of my obsession with this topic, in a way, is that there's not a mechanism in our educational system anywhere to teach people about money. And the reality is, I need to update this. We're almost 30 years into this deal, but the reality is, I've never seen, in my almost 3 decades of working with people and being intimately involved with their money, where a business has been successful when the personal finances were not in order. So it's one of those things that you just can't have one without the other, right? So we've got to get people understanding about money at a much more cellular level, because it does impact every single thing that we do. So I don't want to harp on that, but I just think it's so important. I'm probably one of the most financially educated people you'll ever meet. I have an MBA, I'm a CPA. But I didn't learn most of this, the important stuff. I didn't learn in any of that formal education. It's just from having been through it myself, having been through it with clients. And the thing is, you can Google money knowledge or financial tips or whatever, and you'll get millions of hits on Google. The problem is, anybody can put something on Google. Do they really know what they're talking about? Have they actually done it? And frankly, does it apply to you? It's kind of like, Dr. Google, when you go to your doctor and you've already kind of figured out what you think is wrong with you, and you try to tell them what's wrong with you. Well, that's kind of what's happening with money. Seriously, like, wait, don't Google your money, information. Talk to someone that actually has done it, right? But this is one of my favorite quotes. That's kind of where my whole mantra of make more, keep more, grow more comes from. Robert Kiyosaki, everybody knows him, but it's not about how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how hard it works for you and how many generations you keep it for. That's where my grow part. To me, in your business, if you either aren't bringing enough in, that's kind of a make more situation. We have to talk about sales, be in a mastermind, get coached, whatever, to get more coming in. To keep more is having the right setup, having the right strategies and systems in place, having somebody really help you. Because if you were to look at your lifetime spending, your housing and your taxes are your 2 biggest ones. And so those are the ones you need to be paying attention to. And then, having it grow for you. If you're not creating a legacy with your business, you're missing out on the juiciest part of owning a business. Yes, it does give us a lifestyle. And I do think that entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. It's more than just a way to make money. But if you're not making a legacy with it, you're missing the greatest part of having a business, to me. But I pulled this up a little bit. Oh gosh, this is an older presentation. Actually, I should have updated the pictures. But the reason I even put this, for those, Carol knows me, she's known me for a while. I lost about 60 pounds in the past year. Most of it in that time frame there. And it wasn't because I went and had surgery and had it all, overnight, like great, it was gone. It was little things that I did every single day. That's exactly the same thing that you need to do with your money and in your business. You need to think, what is the one next thing that I can do that'll move me forward? What is the one little thing? Because if you sit here and try to say, I have to make another $100,000 in sales, that's just overwhelming and you're just not going to get it done. And so I actually related to this. I have a little group, and I think Carol's in the group, that I put together. I did a Facebook Live with 100 days left in 2020. And I said, it feels like this has been the year from hell. Frankly, for all of us, no one is doing what we thought we were going to be doing at all. Yesterday was the last, October 15th was the last deadline of the year. But it really was like, if almost 3 decades I've been doing taxes, the longest, hardest tax season ever, because it just dripped on all year long. They just kept moving the deadlines and, PPP and stimulus and, all this it's just been crazy. None of us really expected to be doing that. But the reality is, I think I went on Facebook September 23rd. That was 100 days left. That's still a lot of time to make a huge difference in your world, financial, whatever. And wasn't saying only make financial goals, but I put together 100 days, challenge. And and have people in there just saying, what are you doing today? What is the one little thing that you're doing to move forward? Either that goal to lose 60 pounds or that goal to add money to your business. And it may not save 2020 because we had so many months that really were kind of crazy, and especially if you were in so many of my clients that were in had hair salons or massage therapists or, anybody that had to touch people pretty much couldn't make money for a little while there. I mean, it was, serving them food. I mean, this is generational lifetime experience. This is not like 2008 when, financial markets were impacted. This is not the tech bubble of 2000, 2001. This is not like in Atlanta in 1996 when the Olympics were here. We couldn't even find people to work. I mean, in entrepreneurship, you have situations that are going to impact you. But this one is one that none of us could have seen coming. I mean, this is just certainly not something we expected. But the thing is, even if we can't salvage 2020, if we spent these last 100, which now I think we have about 80 days or 80, I don't know. We got several more left over 2 months. If you did something little every day, you may not salvage 2020, but you're going to be set up much better to go through into 2021. And I'm sure Tandy would agree. The people that are going to come out of this situation are the people that did keep signing up for their coaching, did keep doing their marketing, did keep doing something every day. If you're just sitting here like the deer in the headlights, we're 7 months in, people. I mean, we can't sit here and be deer in the headlights forever, right? So, I mean, not to harp on that forever, but so I'm going to give you a little bit of juicy little tips too. And Carol, I can see you on the screen. So if you just kind of give me like a little warning when because you know me, I could talk on this for like 10 days or whatever. So I will try to give you guys some juicy stuff right now. I'm going to go a little fast because there's a lot I can tell you. But basically, this is a real deal. What is the profit formula? It's the revenue minus the expenses. It's as simple as that. If you want to make more profit, you either have to make more coming in or spend less coming out, right? The real hard part is, okay, what does that really mean? And what can I do? That's going to get me to my profit, right? But for every business, just like for every person, our fingerprint is different. What your revenue model is going to be is different. Even if I were to sit 20 accountants in my conference room, we would all have a different revenue plan. We would all have a different pricing plan. We would all have a different model of how we do that. But the reality is those are the things we need to focus on and knowing your numbers is really the big thing. I'm going to go ahead and bring this out here just so we can see this. I mean, most people don't do the work, don't do that. And I totally agree with what Tandy said about your physical environment. When my office is a mess, like during tax season, I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many files here. I don't know what to do. I mean, I can't get anything done. I actually have to go to another office and work because I just have to go where I can actually think. But it's also important to know your numbers. If you want to make 100, I don't know if I have the example in here. Do I? Let's see, I'm going to go. But you have to really look at your numbers, figure out what are the things that I'm selling. And frankly, every time I do this with someone, they are spending most of their time selling their least profitable product, but they didn't even realize that. I'm like, why are you spending 80% of your time for what's generating 20% of your revenue? If you understand what your real revenue model is, then I call it chase the big check. Start with the big thing. When I come in the first thing in the morning, one of my things, my rituals is who do I need to follow up with that I can make a sale with today? Most accountants don't think in the terms of sales, but the reality is if we're not selling, who cares about how much money I can save you in taxes, right? So you have to have that revenue goal. What are the products and services you're going to sell? How many of those things do you have to sell to get to your goal, right? And then you have to back into those activities to hit to that number. And then it doesn't do you any good to do all of that if you're not tracking and figuring out what's going on so that you can do some kind of a course correction as needed. I think I have a goal. I think this presentation has an example. Yeah, exactly. This one's going to be good. So if you want to make $100,000, which everybody's like, oh, I want to make $100,000. The reality is we have about 2,000 hours in a year that we can work. That's, if you were thinking 40 hours a week, assuming we don't have to work 90 hours a week in order to come up with our revenue. I want to work a regular person, kind of life at that 2,000 hours. You have to average $50 an hour to hit that goal. Right? That's assuming you can bill every single hour that you have, right? Well, obviously you can't. We're sitting here getting trained, which I think is 100% important. But so that means right off the bat, I'm not billing 100% of my hours today, right? So we have to really do the math, right? What about the admin tasks? What about billing people? What about networking? What about marketing? So you've got to factor that in. So if the fact is that I only have 75% of my time to charge people for, then all of a sudden that number becomes like 6250, and the reality is so many people I talk to are doing something that doesn't even come close to making that much per hour, yet they're worried about, beating themselves up with, especially women, giving themselves all kinds of negative juju because they're not making their number when it's mathematically impossible with the system that you've made. 1 + 1 = 2. You can't make 1 + 1 = 100. If you're not making enough, if you're not doing something that generates enough per hour, you're never going to get to those numbers. So how do we get, and that assumes you're in the hourly mode, which a lot of people are. The math doesn't work. But so I look at it from the perspective of you've got to get out of that hourly, but knowing that whatever you're doing has to average that, right? So to me, that baseline, I like to see a baseline where your expenses at least are covered. Maybe not your revenue goal, but your expenses are covered by some kind of base revenue that you're going to have this. That's kind of your baseline revenue. That's going to cover my expenses so that everything else that I do is going to start contributing to profit. Now, it's a whole nother conversation. What I think should be included is expenses. That includes paying you. That includes, saving for retirement. There's a lot of things in there. That's a whole nother training we can talk about. But how can you get to this if you're trying to get out of this whole rat race of dollars for hours? Because we can't make it. The reality is we can always make more money, but we can't make any more time. So what can we do to take our revenue and make it less time sensitive, not fluctuated by the time? So coming up with some ways where you can do one-to-many. When you're out there, I do a lot of live training. I own the building where my office is. I've had it for 20 years. I just paid it off last October, not COVID October, but the year before October. And so I have a training room. So I often do training. When I'm sitting here doing one-on-one with a person, with a client, I have, 20 people in the room that I'm teaching at the same time. Obviously that's better than dollars for hours, right? If you do a group program, that's a one-to-many kind of scenario. Or if you bundle your services, like for example, I have a higher level of service that I do that's not just the tax preparation itself, but if people want to have more, if they want to have some tax planning, if they want to have some financial planning, I bundle those things together. And if everybody were to buy everything in the package, it would cost them a whole bunch more. But most people are like, hey, I may not use all that stuff, but I'm going to use more of it. That also is another way to increase your revenue and take it out of the dollars per hour scenario. Plus, I think everybody needs to have some kind of recurring or passive income. Maybe that means a service, a product or a service that you're recommending that people are, continuing to buy outside. That's related to you. I love direct sales kind of things that make sense for you. Obviously I'm not going to sell coffee to my clients. That doesn't make sense. It'd be like, okay, taxes and coffee, although I love coffee and I can make a lot of good recommendations about it, but it has to kind of make sense with what you're doing. But recurring or passive in that scenario, obviously rental income is recurring or passive, but that requires a pretty big investment. That's why I sometimes tell people, try to find some kind of a direct sales that fits with what you're doing. Maybe, like I have a client that is a hair salon and we got them selling some skincare products in their salon now that people are reordering. And even when COVID happened, they were getting revenue, right? They were still ordering that stuff. And there's a lot of statistics showing where a lot of direct sales companies have really increased during this COVID because people aren't able to get to Macy's and buy their $400 cream. So they'll buy their $150 cream from an online service instead. So you have to kind of think about those kind of things. But then I think you need to be investing some of the money that you make from your business. So if you have some piece coming from each one of those 4 buckets, you're going to be better off instead of relying on that one type of revenue stream. This is really where the magic comes in to me. How do you get more revenue? Other than changing the types of revenue that you have. Obviously you can raise your prices. To me, raising your prices is a little bit of a shaky scenario because people that decided to work with you at $100 they felt like it was worth it for them at $100. If you raise it to $150, you may lose some people. But then in the scenario, you're like, well, gosh, if I'm making this much money at $100 and I'm doing 1,000 people, if I raise it to 200, I only have to do 500 people and I make the same revenue. So you can kind of, play the numbers around a little bit. And one strategy that I use, and I've got a little second, I think, to tell you, when I raise prices for new people. And I show my clients, my old clients, the new pricing, they see it. But then I have what's kind of called established client, a loyalty discount kind of. And so I may raise the, so say I decide that the tax return is going to go from $400 to $500 base price or whatever. These are not real numbers, but I may show on the return $500, and I may raise up my person that paid last year $400 to $425. But they see, hey, you've been with me for a while, so I'm gonna give you that loyalty. So I think that cuts the burn a little bit of price increases. But I mean, you can't, I mean, the reality is if I was charging somebody $100 5 years ago and I'm charging them $100 today, I'm losing out because my groceries cost more, my gas costs more, my utilities cost more. So, I mean, it's not really fair to never raise your prices. So that's one. But then what about increasing the frequency of sales? Now, I kid around about this because, I mean, I just got through the tax deadline yesterday. What if we could do taxes every month? That would be awesome if we had to do an income tax return every month. I mean, think about it. If I changed my revenue by 12 times, I'd be like, woo, this would be great. But no, I mean, but I have seen that happen. Like when I saw it happen on the opposite side, like the decrease in sales when people bought less often. Back in 2008, I had a client that owned 12 Supercuts franchises, which primarily, if you ladies, if you get your haircut there, don't take this as an insult, but primarily was men that go there because it's like a $12 haircut, $15 haircut or whatever. Before 2008, people were coming on average every 4 weeks. Well, then when that happened, it kind of, their average kind of snuck out to 5 weeks. Well, by default, if all the people still came back, they were making 20% less. So I don't like that as far as, but if you can increase your frequency of sales, what if they were coming every 5 weeks and you got them to come every 4 weeks, you've just increased your annual sales by 20% with no change in pricing or anything, or no new customers. So that's always one of the strategies. What about selling more to your current clients? That's what I did when I started doing financial planning with my clients. Because now, instead of them just being, say, an average relationship is $500 or $1,000, if they're taking advantage of, 3, 4, 5 of the things that I do instead of just one, they may be a $5,000 relationship, right? So if you could sell more to the current clients you already have. But I think you can really think outside the box on that as well. And it doesn't have to be 100% you. Like right now, I'm talking to someone about doing a little bit of budgeting and personal finance coaching. I could certainly do that myself, but I'm already kind of maxed out on my time. But I think there are clients that would like that. Now, I don't want to just refer that out because it's so core to my personal business. So I'm trying to get with someone that we could do a rev share on that. But they would be my, they would kind of come through me. But that's giving my current clients access to more services related to me. I often am a joint venture partner with people that are doing stuff on sales or doing stuff on marketing, doing stuff on internet. That's not my core, expertise, but I mean, I've been in business for 30 years. I know what it takes to build a business. So often when my people that I trust and vet come to me, I'll do an affiliate arrangement with them. I'll send out a special thing to my clients, or I will do an actual training for my clients, and whatever the person sells, because I wouldn't even let them get access to my clients if I didn't believe in them, but I do get a revenue share off of that sometimes. So that may be only $50 per person that buys, but that's an increase in revenue from this asset of clients that I already have, right? And then, of course, the fourth one is find more clients, which is, all the networking and things that we do and referrals and those kind of things. And the reality is I spend a ton of my time in the fourth category, but I get a lot more out of it than clients. To me, you also get resources and, other things that go along with it. But if you only rely on finding more customers to increase your revenue, I think you're going to be sadly disappointed. I think you have to kind of have a mix of all 4 of those. And so, So now I'm kind of moving into another topic, Carol. So I don't know. I mean, it's still all money related, but I mean, how much more time do you want me to do?
Yeah, I think we've got about 7 to 10 minutes. So I feel like I would love to open this up for some Q&A, and
Delineation
because
point.
you have already given so many golden nuggets here. And so I would like to open this up for Q&A.
So I'll just close down I'll just stop sharing my screen so that we can just chat. If I can figure out how to do that. Let me see, where'd Zoom go?
Let's see here, exit.
I'm trying to exit it. Let's see. Did I turn it? Oh wait, here we go. I'm in the wrong bubble. I can't
in Zoom on the top of your screen. It should say stop screen share.
Stop share. Okay.
There we go.
I'm technologically challenged. I mean, you can't be great at everything, right?
Oh, you were fabulous. Thank you so much, Deborah. Yeah, let's open this up for some Q&A here.
Sure, Betty. What do you got?
So what I say when I first came back from Africa, what that means is I was gone for 25 years in between DC and being overseas, and I came back with a husband and a family and having to look for a job. And while I was looking, I picked up something part time. We were in my hometown, and I met someone who became a lifelong friend. And she had a publication focused on the city. This is when these city publications were really popular, and she sold ads. She gave the magazine away for free, but she sold ads. And I thought, well, geez, I sold a bunch of stuff in high school and college, and I can sell ads. And this sounds, like something to do when I'm looking for something professional. And she had this philosophy I'll never forget. She said, when I'm approaching my deadline for publication and I got 4 more pages to sell, I can either go out and try to convince people to get an ad, which they're probably going to get the smallest ad if I can convince them to do it, or I can go to the person who's already bought into the value of my magazine, to their business, to them, to their service. And let's say they got 1/8 of a page or 1/4 of a page. I say, would you up it to 1/2 a page? Which takes up more space and I can get more revenue, but I'll do some trades also. Because she used to get a lot of things like, here's 4 tickets to this and 8 tickets to that and blah, blah, blah. So I did some bartering. So I had this full publication, which gave me the success that I needed. They bought into it. And then when they went back the next year, they were still at that same revenue. So you met her deadline. It was just go to the people who have already bought into your mission and say, this has brought you value. Let's
I totally agree with you, Betty. And I don't know if I speak so many times, I'm like, did I say this is time? But one thing I always say, and I don't know if I said it today because I don't really know, but once a buyer, always a buyer, right? I mean, it's, once you get someone to be in your tribe, I mean, like when I started offering financial services to my clients in the financial services industry, when you're trying to go to someone and sell them a life insurance product or an investment or whatever, it's usually a 4 to 6 meeting sale. Literally, I close financial sales with my current clients in 1 or 2 meetings because they already know you, they already like you, they already trust you. So they're like, heck yeah, I'll spend more money with you. It's like Carol. I love Carol. I've done a bunch of her things. When she does something, I'm like, I'm in, I mean, eWomen Network, which is something that I was a managing director for a while. When they put out new content, I buy it because I'm like, okay, this is cool. I mean, so you really have to lean into those relationships. I mean, that my word for this year, and I don't know if you guys pick words, but my word for this year was going to be leverage. I wanted to leverage the 27, 28 years of content, of relationships, of, just everything that I've been building. Now, COVID obviously kicked us all in the butt a little bit, but that's really what we need to do. Take what you've already got and expand it. Instead of, I feel like, and I'm sure Tandy would say this too, when you're coaching people, they always want to jump in and do something new. I mean, it's called rinse and repeat. I mean, whatever works, let's do it again.
COVID also gave us more opportunity, number one. And number two, when you're doing that, you just have to think about what is the value. I have to give you more value too.
Right,
So
right, exactly.
You've got to paint the value for the half page, give the value something. Yeah.
Well, that was fantastic, Betty. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. Excuse me, Betty and Deborah, leverage your clientele. They already know it, like, and trust you, right? They're already your clients, and create additional value. I always say create additional value, deliver the value, and over deliver the value. So give them more. Does anyone else have any questions for Deborah while we have her online with us today?
I'm just reading the comments over here. Tandy, love your excitement. I know, I'm not like an accountant, right? Tandy says, love your excitement. I know, it's I don't know. I'll tell you the difference. A lot of CPAs or professionals, lawyers or whatever, they feel like they have to be in this like box, kind of thing of being super, super professional. But I've always taken the tactic, and I think we all have to, that we have to be an entrepreneur who happens to sell accounting services. I mean, at the root of what we're doing, again, just like we're all in the money business, we really are business owners. And I mean, what just happens to be that we sell different stuff, right? So I think you have to be true to the entrepreneurial part before even what you're selling.
Fantastic. All right. Anyone else? Wow, 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 wow is all I have to say. If you don't mind, we've got a couple more minutes. I would love for us just to go around the room and introduce yourself. I know I see a few new faces here, and I'm thrilled that you're here with us for this this virtual Grow workshop series and Women's Success Summit. And so let's just go around real quick and introduce ourselves, just your name and your company, and then we'll close up and have some closing remarks and get ready for the next week's virtual Grow workshop. All right, Clarissa, I'm going to pass the baton to you.
Hello, I'm Clarissa. I am owner of Charmed by Wrist. I'm a handmade jewelry designer of gemstone, precious stone beads, bracelets, necklaces. I'm very excited to be here. I am loving all of this. And Ms. Deborah, I freelance with taxes and accounting, so I totally relate. So I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Clarissa. We are thrilled you're here. And Jim.
Hi, I'm Jim Gray. I'm a videographer and I work with social media quite a bit. And it's nice to be, I know I'm the only guy here, but it's nice to be welcomed by everybody here, and I appreciate that. I know I'm a little bit like Odd Duck on the pond, but I really feel blessed because so many of these great ideas you guys have are so wonderful. So it's just, I can learn so much. I've written a ton of notes here, and it's really, it's energizing. Let's put it that way. It's invigorating and energizing.
Yeah, I am just thrilled that you're here, Jim. I've known Jim for several years. He is on our success team here at beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com. And he brings so much to the world with his videography services that he offers small business owners and entrepreneurs. So Jim, we're just thrilled that you're here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you,
yeah.
Everybody.
And Angie.
Yes, ma'am. Angie Thompson. My company's Living in America. I do teach English as a second language, but I focus on communication and culture. So most of my clients are at the C1 or C2 level, or a lot of Americans that feel like they don't speak English very well. I have those too. So thank you for having me. You guys did wonderful jobs on your presentations. Deborah, you are definitely the most fun CPA I've ever talked to. And I already sent you a message that said, I think I found my new CPA. So
in the chat?
for LinkedIn. I put it on LinkedIn. So thank you both very much. Tandy did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Fantastic, Angie. And you can find Angie on our website at beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com. She's also on our success team. And Pamela has curated Angie Thompson to be one of our speakers upcoming on Friday, October 30th. So we cannot wait to learn from you, Angie. All right, Brenda Aviard, so good to see your beautiful face.
Hi guys, sorry I had my camera off. My mom just turned 92 today and I have a 30-minute visit with her this afternoon. She's in assisted living, so I was wrapping her presents and I didn't want to distract from any of you that were talking. So I wanted to pop on and say hi. I'm a sales and business coach and I'll be talking to you at the end of the month.
And we cannot wait to see you, Brenda. Brenda is a dynamic sales and business coach, and she will be speaking at our event Friday, November 6th. She's also on our success team here, so you can check out her profile at beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com. Brenda, we cannot wait to learn and be inspired by you. Yeah, we're all in business, right? It's all about sales and taking care of our clients.
Yeah, so. Gotta make some money, right, Deborah? So that she can teach you how to save it.
Yes.
Hi, Jim. I haven't seen Jim forever. I'm missing everybody. Even those of you I don't know, I'm missing seeing you. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Around me.
we're all on the same boat. We're right there with you, Brenda. All right, Carolyn, welcome. It's so good to see you. Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. Did we meet at eWomen Network a number of years ago, Carol? Is that where we first met?
At the Dayton chapter. Good to see you again.
Yeah, a lot of people here were there. Yeah, hi, Brenda. Thank you, everybody. This was just great today and so far, and I'm it's just the beginning, I'm sure. I'm Carolyn Russ, and I offer vitality with a hunger for life, and that is supported by fruits, vegetables, and berries in a capsule, so you can have your own vitality and for the rest of your life. And again, this is just amazing. I mean, I also took pages and pages of notes, and it's not like I've never heard it before, but the way you guys presented it. So I speak later in the month. I've got a big act to follow because you guys did great.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. We're looking forward to hearing your Vitality, Hunger for Life on Friday, November 6th. So thanks for joining us, and I'm glad you're finding value here in this program. Hosted by Aviatra Accelerators out of Dayton with Pamela and myself. So thanks for joining us. And let's see here, Marianne.
Hello, everybody. Happy afternoon. It's Friday, and as I was sitting here listening to these wonderful presentations today, and I'm so happy to hear from Deborah, and I was so happy to see Tandy when I logged in, to see her beautiful face and that she was finally here. And then Brenda pops on, and her beautiful face, and your hair looks so cute today, Brenda. And so I have a magazine called The Hip Senior, where I celebrate seniors starting at the age of 55 and up, and including their families and their caregivers. And coming up here on November 1st, Brenda's mom is going to be our senior spotlight for November. Brenda did a video at her mom being at the hospital, and they were talking about, you know, having those connections and not missing those connections with people and stuff like that and whatever. And and just Brenda's mom being awesome. And so I'm so glad that today is her birthday, and then here in just a couple of weeks, she's going to be our senior spotlight on that. So Brenda, thank you so much for giving of yourself and your mom. And make sure that you tell her that that's coming up, and tell her I said thank you for doing this, even though she doesn't know it yet. Unless you want to wait till the first and surprise her with that as well.
She got 700 views on that video. I like to think a little of it was to hear me, but I think most of it was my mom.
I'm not even going to comment on that one. But you're to invite each and every one of you to go to thehipsenior.com. Make sure you put the word "the" in. And at 1:30, subscribe to the magazine, because today around 1:30, 1:45, right before I have a one-on-one with Betty, I am drawing for free brownies from Fairy Tale Brownies. And it's not age limiting, so any of you can win. Maybe if you're younger and you win, you can you know, share them with a senior in your life. So like 1:30, 1:45-ish, we're going to do that. So go to thehipsenior.com and enter to win, please.
Thank you so much, Marianne, and appreciate having you here, and congratulations on launching the Hip Senior magazine. You've recently done that just a few months ago. Huge shout out and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Shannon, it's so good to see you. 5-star social media.
It's great to see you too, and great to see everybody. It really is. So I miss, like Brenda said, I miss seeing faces and being able to connect with people. So, and I miss hugs. But I'm Shannon Donestay with 5-Star Social Media. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a social media trainer. So I do trainings with individuals and teams, and help them learn the skills that they need to learn to be able to use social media effectively, which has been even more important during this time. So in my presentation coming up, is it in 2 weeks? Is it next week?
Friday, October 30th. So
it's going by fast.
It's going by fast.
I'll be talking about how you can improve your social media profile, whether you're a business professional in the corporate world or if you are a business owner. You know, really your social media profile and your brand is how people decide if they want to do business with you. And we're going to be talking about some ways that you can improve that. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shannon. Shannon is also kind of our behind the scenes here at our company, and she has just been tremendous in helping us set up all of our social media platforms so that we can deliver fabulous programming just like this out into the world and impact small business owners and entrepreneurs. So thank you, Shannon. And we can't
pleasure.
We can't wait for your presentation. So
Thank you.
And then I think we need to hear from Betty, Dr. Betty Tonsing.
Hi there, Carol. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Betty Tonsing, and I am currently in Indianapolis, and I have a global company called Taking It to the Next Level. And this draws upon a lifetime of experiences focused on global education. I've also been a global public servant working in development capacity overseas for about 15 years in several different continents. I also developed fundraising experience, which I did both here in the United States and overseas. And I also have a global partner in Juice Plus in the Tower Garden. And a lot of my patients focus around putting people in the driver's seat of their own healthcare through a Facebook page called Patient Advocates Speak Out. This comes from my husband's death from a medical error 8 years ago by a compromised immune system. And it really drew my passion for what is authentic patient engagement and patient-centered care, and are we driving that car? And also linked with our own lives. One of the major contributing factors to medical errors is us. It's like when Pogo said, I've seen the enemy, and the enemy is us. We are our own worst enemy when it comes to healthy life choices. And the status of our health, our immune system's compromised by bad health choices, environmentally, food, tobacco, not moving, puts us in and out of the hospital and the doctor's offices more frequency. And that's my passion for being involved with Juice Plus. And my little motto is, healthy living is fun, is easy, and is life-saving.
Thank you so much, Betty. And it is a necessity, isn't it? Yes, our health is our wealth. So it's so important that we remain healthy and sane, especially during this time. Well, I want to say thank you so much to Deborah Daniels and also Tandy Pryor for being our speakers and presenters today. Pamela, do you have any closing remarks or anything to share before we log off?
This was a great kickoff for our Grow Workshop series portion of this great event. And I look forward to all the presenters coming back for our Women's Success Summit. And it was just awesome. I wrote down words. I'm a thought, words that give thought to me. And I wrote down examine, expect, have expectations, and commit, and urgency. I wrote those down from Tandy. And I heard Deborah say cover your bottom line, and also to save and to expand your current customer. So instead of wasting the time to seek new customers, to engage and expand your existing. So those are things that there are my takeaways that I took from this, and then I will utilize in moving forward and planning my 2021 plan for and beyond for Aviatra, and I hope you do the same. And I hope you enjoyed yourself, and we will see you next Thursday, not Friday, but Thursday the 23rd. We're going to talk about expanding your business. So mark that it's Thursday, and that's because of me. But Thursday, October the 23rd, we will be back for another workshop.
I know. This is so
22nd.
22nd.
Yes, you got it.
Thursday,
October 22nd.
October 22nd, Thursday, back at noon,
Yes.
talking about expanding your business. Who's coming?
Yes, we have Jim Diebold. He is the founder and business strategist with Focal Point. And let me just say, he is actually going to be handing us a template, a worksheet, all about strategic planning for 2021. So you don't want to miss it. Also, please share this event because we still have capacity to host other attendees virtually and leading up to our in-person event on Friday, the 13th of November. So they have access to all of these trainings and recordings and sessions, as well as meeting new faces and new connections here over the next 4 weeks as we grow together with this Grow Workshop series. So we have Jim Diebold with Focal Point, and Vivi Kennett. She is the CEO and president of Absolute Web Marketing. and she's going to be really focusing on your website and SEO and e-commerce. So you know what, our websites are open for business 24/7. So it is imperative that we have that online presence nailed. So we're really looking forward to that. And I think that's a wrap. I want to say thank you so much, Pamela, for co-hosting with Beautiful Faces Going Places. I'm excited to be working with Accelerators, Aviatra Accelerators of Dayton. And Pamela, you're an awesome director. And I'm just thrilled that we're able to deliver such quality programming to the world. It is so needed right now. And as Tandy was sharing earlier, I thought about something that she said about, you know, we could either like bury our heads in the sand, or we can take action, be in motion, and keep moving forward. So that's our biggest message. Keep moving forward.
Carol, could I make a real quick ask, you know, just from, I posted in the chat a bit.ly link to my YouTube channel. I just launched my YouTube channel about 60 days ago.
Okay.
I already have like 75 viewers, and you get this little thing, analytics. I've had tons of views of my videos, and there's not that many videos out there. But for those of you that are kind of into that, it's a big deal to have 100 subscribers on your YouTube channel, and I'm up to already 76. So if you guys want to check out my channel, I've got a little bit.ly in there. It's good information. It's more of the stuff that I was talking about here, a little bit more skewed to the personal. I mean, it's nothing salesy. It's all just content, and I'd love for you to check it out.
Fantastic. You can count on us. We will subscribe. All right. Thank you all.
I had one thing that I felt like I should share, just
Sure.
escape me, just because we're women and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we are hosting a cancer and nutrition talk next week.
Okay.
If anybody would like to tune into that, just contact me and I'll get you the Zoom ID and the password.
Fantastic, Carolyn. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I want to say thank you all so much for attending today's event. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday, October 22nd at 12 o'clock. Please keep your eye on your email to make sure you've got the Zoom link and the recording, and continue to share this event, as we would love to impact other small business owners and entrepreneurs around the globe. So, all right. Thank you. We'll sign off for now, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.